I'm Sandra, and I approached PayPlan last year when I realised that I was getting into problems with credit card debt and I couldn't see a way out of them. But I'm also a widow, and my husband had lost a battle to cancer, raising a daughter on my own. Now, I actually work as a psychotherapist, so I support a lot of other people. I've actually been working professionally and independently for 25 years and never had to ask for support. So it was genuinely really frightening and kind of frozen with fear to have to reach out. And I felt high levels of shame and self-criticism and self-blame. So that caused me to actually just be really frozen and know that I was getting into problems but not know what to do. I reached out to ask a trusted friend for some support. She had a good friend of hers who'd used PayPlan in a similar situation to myself, and they'd helped her find a really practical solution and found them really helpful. So that was the turning point for me then feeling strong enough to just acknowledge that I was having a problem that wasn't going to get better by me freezing and hiding my head in the sand. So I picked up the phone and gave you guys a call. From the very first contact onwards, which makes me feel emotional talking about it, to give your clients an idea, I felt extremely professionally supported. So I was told obviously I'd need to provide financial information and debts, which was a little overwhelming at first to kind of think, oh, I'd rather hide away from doing that. But your team just told me exactly what was needed, and most of my communication has actually been by email and phone. They literally had like 4 or 5 conversations back and forwards with me until I felt sure that the numbers that I was submitting I felt comfortable with and would be achievable for me. And that was a great help instead of trying to do that on my own. I now call PayPlan my debt management therapist because I have felt held and respected in a way that I really hope my clients do with something that I find too difficult to deal with. I've had an ongoing argument with the council of the amount of council tax that I owe, and I've asked PayPlan to keep a record for me of all the conversations, and they just reply, they ask me how I'm getting on, they understand what I'm dealing with. So it's really a dialogue, and one that I just very much appreciate. So in my case, I submitted an application for an individual voluntary agreement, and they told me exactly what the process would be, what timescales to expect. And once it was approved, I just felt a massive relief. So PayPlan really helped me take control instead of spiraling out of control. I'm just coming up for my annual review, so I'm just preparing my data as we speak. And again, I'm in a process, so I'm being talked to, I'm being asked, is this working, what else may be needed, which really feels like a partnership. For anybody out there, reach out, please reach out, because having PayPlan alongside you is like having a partner to really offer practical advice and treat you respectfully.